Good morning, fine folks. I'm here to give my thank you video for today, of all days, Sunday. Staying consistent with it, and we're reporting to see exactly how your boy is doing mentally after he has been doing things to crush himself mentally. So let's get into that. I yesterday a few great things. First of all, woke up in the morning, breathing, feeling fine, had great rest. I had you would have thought I watched an action packed movie last night, but instead no, it was everything else and like the last scene that I can remember in my dream, which was kind of like epic. And I'm realizing like more and more what my spirit is. Sometimes I think I'm very cautious in ways. I don't approach things because I might feel uncomfortable. But like I realize sometimes I just don't give and I go right into it. It's just kind of interesting. So I'm in this building. We've all been kind of partying and well, gosh, it's like the reason why I pause is because I'm thinking about another spot in my dream with my daughter. Like, gosh, she wanted to. We were having conflict and stuff with her mother. Her mom couldn't even imagine her kid being like this with me, and it was just like a big shock factor. With like finding out, like, yeah, this is your daughter. I was like, that she's different with each person she meets, and she's very aware of it, and I like that. I think that's one of the things we lack. We keep thinking, why am I not the same with this person that I am with a different person? But she is. She's very different and understands that there's an energetic difference. I like that. Anyways, so the last scene in the dream was me. We were all kind of like the family and people and friends and some other associates, people I didn't even know. We're all up in this building and we're kind of getting set up for something. I don't know what it was. It was like some kind of event thing. And we start hearing gunshots outside. And I'm going, oh shit, what the hell's going on outside? And next thing you know, we look out the window because you can look down and see a parking lot or courtyard area. We start seeing all these cars randomly show up in there, and we're like, oh, we thought, okay, so that's the cop. Wait a minute, that's not a cop. And like these people would jump out, and then they just kind of take over the space in the courtyard area. And everybody inside's like, oh shit, just stay quiet, stay calm, get back from the windows. These people have guns. They're all worried. They're all worried that what's about to transpire outside will transpire inside. This probably is a good analogy for life. I don't know if I thought about that. Let me think about that. We're worried what is taking place outside is going to transpire inside. That is probably a good analogy. But could not be close to, I don't know what somebody says, couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further away from the truth in this case. So I go to the door and I'm like, they're like, hey man, what are you doing, man? I'm like, I'm going out there. And they're like, no, no, don't go out there. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going out. So I went out the door, shut it. I was like, hey, what's going on, everybody? What you got going? They're like, hey, and there's some weird folks in there. And they're like, well, what are you doing here? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm starting to talk with them and I'm saying, well, what are you guys trying to achieve out here? Like, what's the mission? I think y'all are trying to make a statement. Like, we want our city, we want our town to be independent. And we're not going to stop until we get that. And that was the only message they were trying to make. Maybe there was some normal cats there. Maybe there's some extra weird cats there. It didn't matter. They all were coming together as a community, as a group, to take sovereignty. I was blown away. Now, normally in life, if you've known me, I would be like right on board with that. But in the dream, I was more or less trying to be like a scout. So I just wanted to extract information and data. And so I did it as much as I could, hung out with some of the locals. And they didn't ask me about the building. I probably avoided that. And then I was like, man, whatever, y'all okay, man? Well, that's cool. You know, I'm going to talk to you. Give me 1 second. And like I popped back in the building and I shut and locked it. And so it didn't really create too much of a wave because I kind of muted myself as I left. I get back in, start telling them this, and they're like, oh, well, that's weird. Well, gosh, what do we do here? How should we approach this? And that was pretty much where I was waking up. I think the people inside were considering trying to work in liaison with them outside to get whatever it was that they wanted. So, pretty cool dream to have then. And then, so the rest of it was waking up. Oh yeah, yesterday, so I bought this game, Remnant 2. I was not waiting for it to release. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that I've never played a Souls game before. And so this is a Souls type game, and it's got great reviews. People are loving it versus Diablo 4, which was a pain in the ass. Still is. You gotta understand, I'm not the only one. I'm not even a gamer. But I realized that game was an asshole game. I hate to say it. And then I'm looking at all the leading experts, some of that are just like known gamers from other types of games, other platforms, and I'm like, I like these cats. I've actually seen them in the past prior to anything Diablo 4 related. And here they are giving their spiel on why they don't like it or walking away. There's one guy that I actually posted on a different video about one of their rants. And he said he's making his channel completely different. He actually knew the game that he promoted was Remnant 2. He hasn't played it, but other people told him to get on it. And so I'm looking at it just like, this is great. I feel like I followed the community part of it, at least, from Diablo 4 that said, F you, and went over to Remnant 2, and here I am. And I played the game yesterday, and while there's some things that I think I would like to change, there's nothing like in every game you're gonna have some shit issues, but it's not enough to where you don't want to play it ever again. So I'm excited to play it. I got all my stuff lined up for the character type I wanted. Went and met these different vendors, put the stuff on the gear, and I'm seeing what the journey's gonna be like. Here's the fun part about some game like this: you can't always go out and look at a whole lot of builds, even though there are some out there. It's so interchangeable that you can really pick and play what you want to use and see what works best for you as your character is moving on up. The only thing that I would draw as hesitation from what I've learned yesterday, and I can see that happening even with this, is that you don't want to sit and grab every single weapon or gun and then turn around and try to upgrade. You want to try to hold off on the upgrades as much as you can till you get a nice gun or weapon that you've been looking for or something like that, and then level it and not level anything else. So you gotta be selective in what you like using and level that. Anyways, I'm kind of digressing and making this a little bit about Remnant 2. Game plan today. Maybe we can stay under 10 minutes of thanking our lives. So open my eyes today. I'm making my mouth move. I got a camera that's watching me. I will be honest, I shouldn't even be able to speak as clear as I am, because I also drank like a freaking champ yesterday. I sat down and I probably drank a whole bottle of wine in like 30 to 40 minutes. And like it used to make me really drunk, or I would take like at least an hour and a half or 2 hours. I smashed that thing like I was drinking water. I can't tell you what. Okay, so let me make sure I show you what this supplement is. The supplement of choice right now. Of course, you can't see it. Organic Mucuna. Okay, you can see kind of the name of the company, Himalaya. I'm telling you this because that sucker's a game changer. I would take this supplement right here over drinking coffee. That's how much I enjoyed it. But it's similar to some of the effects that you would pick up if you were taking CMOS. When I started having nervous problems, like I would have like joints and like weird little pop pains. I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's so weird. And I noticed my nervous center was affected was when I was taking CMOS. But my brain clarity, like it is now, and communication and being able to do all this other different stuff, that was the same. It's the same as what these are. Now you say, well, did you lose all of those nervous center ticks and clicks? No, I didn't. That's what made me clue in on it. So as soon as I took it, I ate some food. I'm sitting back. I had all my other regimen in the equation, so I took it. Maybe that kind of interaction messed me up. But next thing you know, I started like going, whoa, whoa. I want to do everything. I'm motivated. I'm really fucking motivated. And I like rearranged. And yeah, we crossed the 10-minute mark. So screw that. So, but this is a good supplement to talk about. And so I started reorganizing all my supplement stuff. Remember, I have an extensive shelving list and quantity of supplements. I mean, I've done so much with them. And I can't tell you sometimes which ones I'm taking, what kind of effect I'm having. Sometimes you have to take these things daily. And if I don't, I usually like to fill my stuff right away because I'm a sensitive absorber. Otherwise, I just kind of kick it to the side, which is the case is why I'm turning on to this. I did that one. I also had something else that affected the dopamine. I always say blah, blah, but it's dopaminergic centers in your brain or in your body, the dopamine centers, receptors. So that happened with the time that I was taking, and now I feel like this was doing something similar where it's kind of connecting with the nervous center. And I took CoQ10, which actually activates as like a little energy, like the little energy gapper or whatever in all this equation. There's a lot going off in my body when I take these things. I didn't even take it this morning. It's still got remnants of it inside me. No pun intended. So yeah, if anybody's looking to try to take something that's going to elevate their awareness, their consciousness, their decision making process, it's almost like I've taken things in the past that kind of gave me this euphoric effect of mental awareness. And this one kind of borders on some of that. Like I would liken it to something like a limitless situation where you were walking a little duller, a little bit darker, and then somebody's turned on the lights and you're like, yo, I thought I had them even more on before than I did normally, and now what the fuck? Like, yeah, it definitely sets you into another, it increases it twofold. And what I'm considering and thinking is that I may not do these every day. I just don't see myself being able to do that. I think it's just already going to carry over for two days, maybe. And that's all I need to do is like maybe every other 2 days. But the side effects that I had while I was doing this was that my knee, I was starting to go like a clown, organizing all my pills, took some, threw them out, reorganized and put them in a different area that I don't really use. I kind of like sorted them in my mind from between like I'm never probably going to ever use again to I do use this because I have some availability in my time and thinking for, and then these are my like go-tos for sure. And like I made these like little different swaps. Well, anyways, the negative side effects with it, while I was doing that, my knee started having this like zing. It was like ding. I was like, God, what the fuck is that? I would look at my knee like something nervous hit there. It's like, oh, that's so weird. And then go ding, hit me again some other time. I'm like, this is like a nervous, response to something if you've taken like similar to CMOS. And like for me, that's what it was like. Then my wrist started having some weird like when I can't even making these noises. It's like these pains make these kind of activations in my body. It's like that's the way I can describe it in sound. But it was like just like, oh no. It's like that's a little weird. And it's gone. And then it comes back. And then it's gone. And it's come back. So it's on cycle. And then the other piece, which was the most annoying part of it, I think, was my lower back started having some problems. And I haven't had really any issues there. I didn't do anything that I would suspect during the day to attribute to some pains, and yet there it went off. So it's on the edge, but at least ways I knew what was going on. And then today I pick up the box and I read supports relaxation and restoration. So maybe it's restoring something. I don't know. That's what I was imagining yesterday, anyways. Benefits the nervous system. So it's all in the box. It definitely affects the nervous system. So key point, next thing you know, I noticed like while I was cleaning, I started doing freestyles. And I mean like some sick ass freestyling. I was like, yo, this shit is dope. And I was talking about my girl, like I was thinking, like, I don't know if I can pull some shit right now, but I was like, yo, we're gonna spit a little bit, talk about that shit. The girl will wrap me around her head like a curler's twist. And here we go, we making a nice old flow. Man, she had to say goodbye, I had to let her go. And then moving on to the next show, I was making my lyrics, man, and you were like, yo, this guy can spit just a little bit, and I was filling it up. It's like I can't do it as much as I was smoothing it yesterday, because I was just pulling shit out my box. I was like, what the hell? This is good. Now, if anybody knows me from other platforms, I've had times like where I pick up my lyric freestyling and I can just go. It's kind of nice. But I don't have any hooks here. I don't really care. I just spit right there off the cuff. But I was just freestyling. I was like, oh my God, this is good. This is good. I wish I had my video recording this right now. What else happened? Okay, I've skipped there to that. You already know what the mental clarity is like. Now moving back to the alcohol situation. I started drinking, got about halfway past the halfway mark, decided I was going to get on VR. So I stopped the game because it's at a pivotal spot I want to start off on my journey with. And then I went into VR. And in VR, I navigated just a little bit, not too much. Got into some big screen, if anybody knows big screen. And I sat there with a lot of my friends. Well, I will say friends, but everybody's a friend. But I sat in like somebody's room. They were talking about God, how they know all this stuff, and all they do is listen to the Bible. They don't. It was really. It looked silly as ever. But I was just like, everybody's got mental health problems, and people were laughing and cracking up. But I just ended up leaving the room and made my own room. Talked about different discussions. We had some good talks all around. You know, people were talking about how. They were talking about the other room. Some that I knew that were in that room came to my room, which is, you know, it just happens like that. And we picked that conversation up. There was a kid that came in to begin with, and he said he likes to sing. And I was like, all right, man, what do you want to sing, man? And he's like, and he started sharing with me. And I was like, what do you think about these rooms where these people kick you out because you're too young? And he's like, they're assholes. And I'm like, yep, you're right. That's how it goes, man. And, you know, anyways, we had like a good conversation. The kid was relating to me. Instead of being a jerk off, taking pens and markers, they write all up in the space. They do all kinds of stuff sometimes, but it's usually because the adults are jerks to them. And I'm just like, what did they expect? And then they even say, oh, what's the kid say? Like I had this chick come in the room. She wanted to listen to some music. So I played some music. She's like, oh, I'm really old. And I'm like, I mean, how old are you? And she's like, I'm 26. I'm like, 26? She's like, how old are you? I was like, I'm 39. I'm like, don't, fucking old, 26? And then she starts going off about, well, this kid here, what the kids say, kid's doing something. And I'm just like, people don't understand, like, even with that little shift in describing somebody else, you've put them in this nice little box. Like, what if we were back on the subject of transgender or something? I don't know. I don't even follow the subject matter. But let's say we go there and we say, oh, what did the tranny say? The tranny said something. I mean, that's the whole point. You don't call people out about this new label. Like, it's a ridiculous thing to sit here and label people. It's like, even if I had a tough time trying to figure out if this is a girl or a boy, I would ask them, like, hey, what do you prefer to be called? I want to call you dude or bro, but if you don't you want me to call you that, I'll call you something different. Like, what up, girl? Well, nah, girl, nah, hell no. Or some shit like that. I would try, maybe. And maybe I slip up, but it isn't going to be just like, you kind of make fun of people indirectly. So I'm getting close. Maybe I can stop this by the 20 mark. I'm very grateful to have these communications yesterday. It was nice. I ended up watching UFC on a different room. So I got to see Dustin Poirier get his head kicked off. I went, oh no! I had money on Dustin Poirier, but he lost. So guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I know I'm going to have one, well, at least I feel like I will. And my focus will hopefully be well enough. And I'm just going to enjoy the day and then put conditions on a lot of the stuff that I've just done recently for fun. And make sure that I can knock out some things like I'm doing work in order to have play. You guys have an awesome time. I'm glad you listened. If you listened, and if not, it's all good. Like, whatever, subscribe. If you subscribe, that's going to be interesting. See you later. Love y'all.